what all monotheists are told to do, and admire the man who said, yes, I'll gut my kid to show my love of God, I'd say, no, fuck you. Who can create us sick, as apparently we are, and then order us on pain of eternal torture to be well again. You're a child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
So, on the subject of this video that I just posted about how Muslims should want to spread their cult all over the world and destroy everything else that opposes them and establish Sharia law everywhere, I thought I would look up Sharia law, and I'm looking at this lovely picture of an amputated hand. I'm sorry, the whole cult just disgusts me to no end. It says, Sharia law is the law of Islam. Sharia law is cast from the actions and words of Muhammad, which are called Sunnah, and the Quran, which he authorized. The Sharia law itself cannot be altered, but the interpretation of the Sharia law, called I don't know if I said that right, F-I-G-H, by imams, is given some leeway. As a legal system, the Sharia law covers a very wide range of topics. While other legal codes deal primarily with public behavior, Sharia law covers public behavior, private behavior, and private beliefs. Of all legal systems in the world today, Islam's Sharia law is the most intrusive and strict, especially against women. According to the Sharia law, theft is punishable by amputation of the right hand above, referring to the picture. Criticizing or denying any part of the Quran is punishable by death. Criticizing or denying Muhammad is a prophet is punishable by death. Criticizing or denying Allah, the moon god of Islam, is punishable by death. A Muslim who becomes a non-Muslim is punishable by death. A non-Muslim who leads a Muslim away from Islam is punishable by death. A non-Muslim man who marries a Muslim woman is punishable by death. A man can marry an infant girl and consummate the marriage when she is 9 years old. Girls' clitoris should be cut per Muhammad's words in Book 41, I'm saying this wrong, Kitab al-Adab, Hadith 5251. A woman can have one husband, but a man can have up to 4 wives. Muhammad can have more. A man can unilaterally divorce his wife, but a woman needs her husband's consent to divorce. A man can beat his wife for insubordination. Testimonies of 4 male witnesses are required to prove rape against a woman. A woman who has been raped cannot testify in court against her rapist. A woman's testimony in court, allowing only in property cases, carries half the weight of a man's. A female heir inherits half of what a male heir inherits. A woman cannot drive a car as it leads to fitna, upheaval. A woman cannot speak alone to a man who is not her husband or relative. Meat to be eaten must come from animals that have been sacrificed to Allah. Muslims should engage in, and it's spelled Taqiyya, and lie to non-Muslims to advance Islam. The list goes on. Which countries use the Sharia law? Muslims' aspired Sharia state is Saudi Arabia, the birthplace of Muhammad, that has no legal code other than the Sharia and enforces it without mercy. I will post a list in the description because the list is really long. I just would like to point out that cutting off the right hand of a thief, first of all, it's the 21st century. Cutting people's limbs off is barbaric and brutal and disgusting. It's medieval. It's dark ages. Any cult that actually pushes things like maiming and flogging people or stoning people to death, it's beyond reprehensible. You want to cut a thief's hand off? What do you do for your society when you cut somebody's hand off? Well, let's see. Pretty much you're going to guarantee that you're going to have one more beggar in the streets, or somebody who is going to continue to steal because he or she is not going to be able to earn much of a livelihood with just one hand. You're also maiming for life. It's kind of like the idea of torturing somebody in hell forever for a finite crime. You're going to maim somebody for life for making either a stupid mistake or a choice out of desperation because of financial hardship or hunger. Cutting somebody's hand off is brutal and cruel, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this long list of what Sharia law supports, and the whole thing makes me livid. But for some reason, maybe because there's a lovely picture of somebody's hand on a meat block with a knife over it, like it's just a piece of meat, and you can see the bones and stuff. Unbelievable. They want to spread this across the world. They want to make worldwide it so that women are worth half as much and that a woman can't testify against her rapist in court. And basically a woman has no human rights. A woman becomes property under this law. That's what they want for the whole world. I'm sorry, but being tolerant of this is to say, okay, fine, just take over the world. I don't want my rights. I don't want to continue to be a free human being. And in the cultures where women are raised from infancy to think this way about themselves, that they're dirty, that they can't sit next to men, ooh, girl germs, whatever, that they're taught that they're less than men, they have less value, they have half the value. And so they're okay with that, and they've been basically conditioned to think that it's feminine and attractive to wear veils and cover themselves, and like there's something shameful about being a woman. In those cultures where it seems the norm, where the oppression of women and apparently the killing of apostates and adulterers and the hacking off of limbs is the norm, you know, maybe you can find people walking around, it's a religion of peace. But I'm sorry, this is not that culture does not exist here. I wasn't raised to think that way of myself. I don't want that here. I don't want that to be the future of girls across the world. Always, religion has been the greatest obstacle standing in the way of women being equal human beings. Always. And this cult, even more than Christianity, I dare venture to say, is the greatest threat against women that exists on the planet. But it's also the greatest threat against human decency, human life. The qualities that at least some people value: kindness, caring, compassion, forgiveness, understanding. It goes against all those things. There's none of that in the teachings of Sharia law. It's a ruthless, brutal, despicable thing. The day that Islam decides that we're going to get rid of Sharia law, maybe then I might start thinking, okay, well, there's potential that this could one day become a religion of peace after all. But as long as they embrace this despicable medieval practices that Sharia commands, there's no way this is a religion of peace. This is a threat. It's a threat to free thinking. It's a threat to human rights.